Well, thank you for having me here today. At the beginning of the year, I went on a little diet and lost a little weight, and then I got off the diet, but I was so busy running around that I kept on losing weight, and I've been running around and knocking on doors and speaking so often that I sometimes forget to eat, and I'm afraid I guess I've lost about 20, 25 pounds. This is one of the few suits that I have that actually fits. I've got a couple other suits that, clown pants and so forth at this point. And I can tell you though, if any of you ever think that the best way to lose weight is to run for office, I want to caution you. As they say in the TV commercials, these results are not typical. But I do want to say it has been a thrill to meet so many new friends and to re-see so many old friends, and it's really an honor to have had the trust of the people who have put me in office in the Arkansas General Assembly for the last 4 years, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to run for the state Senate this coming time. But when I was kind of thinking about my diet and kind of thinking about forgetting to eat, it occurred to me that one of the main reasons I originally got involved in public service is the sad fact that the government never forgets to eat.
Yeah, that's true.
And let me say something about that. When you wake up in the morning and you drink that first cup of coffee, you pay the sales tax. To start your car, you pay an automobile tax. You drive to work, you pay a gas tax. At work, you pay an income tax and you pay a payroll tax. You get home from work and you pay a property tax. And you flip on the light, you're paying an electricity tax. You turn on the TV, you pay a cable tax, and you make a telephone call, you pay a utility tax. Brush your teeth, you pay a water tax. And one day, when you reach your old age, the next day you might not even wake up. And after that point, you pay a death tax. And I have just one question for you. Have you had enough?
Yeah.
Now when I said this, I remember this kind of vividly because I said this at the very first Tea Party we ever had here in Arkansas. And this was a unique experience for me. I got my first heckler. He started yelling at me. He said, "This is a." I was the only public official, I think, speaking at the first Tea Party. There were some public officials who kind of wanted to stay away from it. I mean, I thought it was great. He started yelling at me. Here's another politician hijacking the Tea Party movement. Well, let me just say, I reject that, but I'm open to the possibility that the Tea Party movement has hijacked me. Jeremy is right. We are entitled to look at the records of public officials when we decide whether to support them or not. Let me say just a few words about the work that I've done in the state legislature. When I tried to pass a law that was going to make the criminal record of every public official in Arkansas open to the public, the way it is in many other states, it was killed on the floor of the House of Representatives thanks to the lobbying of our state's Democratic Attorney General. So let me ask you, do you think you have a right to know which of the people who represent you in public office have a criminal record?
Yes.
That's a good question. When we tried to pass a law that was going to make public the racial preferences and the racial discrimination that state government uses in college admissions, in an effort to avoid the illegal and unconstitutional practices that have taken place in other states, this was an approach that's endorsed by the United States Civil Rights Commission. This was killed in committee by the Democrats thanks to the lobbying of our state's Democratic governor. So let me ask you, do you think you have a right to know when our state government is treating people unequally because of the color of our skin?
Yes.
We tried to pass a law. I sponsored a law that was going to put the state budget on the internet. In every state that's ever done this, this has led to huge savings because what happens is you have people looking at the internet and realizing there are tremendous savings to be made in every department. This was killed by the cost estimates of state bureaucrats who for some reason decided it was going to cost more in Arkansas than in any other state. Some states it costs $100,000, in other states it costs $60,000. Their first estimate that they brought in, they said, well, it's going to cost $8.4 million the first year, $4 million every year after that. So let me ask you, do you think the people of Arkansas have a right to see on the internet how their tax dollars are being spent? We tried to pass a law that said you have to show ID when you vote, so we can rid ourselves. We can rid ourselves of Arkansas's sad tradition of voter fraud, some of it engineered by government officials. It was killed by Democrats in committee on a party line vote. Do you think we're entitled to elections that are free of vote fraud?
Yes.
There are two approaches to health care and health insurance. I know that you're familiar with the Obama approach, which is to put all of us in one department and put everybody basically in the same box. There's another approach. We tried, and actually this is my most recent official action, I think. I was co-sponsor of a bill, and I advocated a bill to get it put before interim study to make Obamacare an option, not a mandate, so that people could choose between different health insurance programs, so we'd have a choice and not everybody be forced into some gigantic bureaucracy like the post office where you have to participate in it. Do you think you're entitled to have a choice and options in your health insurance?
Yes.
Now, even when we manage to get good legislation through the House, too often the state Senate is where good bills go to die. We actually passed a number of tax cuts, a great amount of tax relief in the state House in this last session. Okay, the guardians of gridlock in the state Senate killed it all. Let me just list this. We passed a sales tax cut, killed in the Senate Tax Committee. We passed a tax relief on used cars, killed in the Senate Tax Committee. Tax relief for our brave soldiers defending us overseas, killed in the Senate Tax Committee. We passed tax relief for families with disabled kids, killed in the Senate Tax Committee. It's enough for a guy like me to say, maybe we need some more Republicans in the Senate Tax Committee. Now, let me close by talking about one of the great works of literature. You may be familiar with the comic strip Peanuts by Charles Schulz. You probably remember the Peanuts cartoon where Lucy and Linus are arguing over which television program to watch. Linus says, Lucy, why do you always get to pick the TV channel? Well, Lucy says, well, I want to show you something. These 5 fingers by themselves, individually, they're nothing. But when you put them together, they form a terrible force that's powerful to behold. And that's why I get to choose the channel. And Linus goes into the next room and says, how come you guys can't get together like that? And that's always, right? That's always the question of political organization. We're dealing with people here in the state who have, I think, very few values, very little popular support, very few powerful arguments, but tremendous political organization. The reason it is such a pleasure to speak to you is that y'all have figured out that what we need is we just need a bunch of guys and gals to get together like that, to form political organization where we can capture our state government and bring limited government, lower taxes, traditional values, and ethics and openness in government to Arkansas. That's the importance of Secure Arkansas. That's the importance of the Tea Party. And I really believe that the people can triumph over the special interests that bleed away our resources, that take them away from the public, and push them towards special interests and higher taxes. If you live in my district, I'd be very grateful for your support. If you don't live in my district and you'd like to maybe volunteer for me a little bit over the next couple days, please let me know. I'd be very grateful for your support. I ask for your vote. If you don't live in my district, I ask for your prayers. Thank you very much. I'd be happy to take questions.